Couch Potato GM mock draft simulator. A lot of changes, a lot of movement here over the course of the first month of the college football season. Draft order is changing all the time, right? So we do have another update coming next week. But right at this moment, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, 0-3 Bengals, right
Wow.
at the top of the draft here, man. What do you do? What do you do with the first overall pick if you're the Cincinnati Bengals?
They got good players all along this team, man. So it's a surprising 0-3 start. He's another pass rusher. The cornerback position.
I like what I've seen from Dax Hill, right? Making that transition from safety. I'm fine with Cam Taylor-Britt. Your boy Turner, bro. I know we had some question marks about him coming out.
Yes.
He hasn't played particularly well. If I could effectively move Dax Hill back to
Back to the
safety,
slot or the slot or something.
yeah, or playing the slot, I'd feel better about my secondary. The interior of the offensive line continues to be an issue, right?
Yeah.
That continues to be an eyesore. I don't know that we would go this early. So as you mentioned, pass rusher T. Higgins. I'm not expecting him back in Cincinnati next year. How about a guy who can help at
Both.
both corner
I know where you go. I know where you going.
and moonlight at receiver because as you mentioned, Yoshevitz is playing pretty well, and I think they're kind of slowly bringing Jermaine Burton along, but I'm a believer in his talent, right? I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Travis Hunter, bro. I
Hey.
know, we'd like to go meat and potatoes here because they certainly have an issue along the interior of the offensive line, interior defensive line as well. I would say they probably have some question marks there. So not out of the question to go interior defensive lineman here, but I'd be hard pressed passing to Travis Hunter from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I like the idea what you're saying, moving Dax Hill maybe back to safety or nickel corner, putting Travis Hunter on the outside, and then you have Travis Hunter that could come in and play some offense with T. Higgins probably out the door. So, no, I love it, man. He's probably the most talented player in the class. So Travis Hunter at 1, bro. I'm with it.
Do it. All right. Indy did manage to get a win this past week, but currently we have them at number 2. What are your thoughts in terms of Indy?
I think Richardson got to play better. I know
He
he's
does. He does. No question
extremely
about
incredible with his legs, but the inaccuracy is starting to show up here for the Indianapolis Colts. I like the receivers, Pittman, Adonai Mitchell, even Pierce, and then Josh Downs. They got receivers, but somehow Anthony Richardson just can't connect with those guys. It's been a lot of instances where guys are open and he just misses them. But we're not going to get a quarterback here, man. He's the future there. So the offensive line needs improvement, maybe a tackle. They brought in a lot to the cornerback position.
Past draft,
That's an eyesore right now for them.
Yeah, back-to-back corners. Will Johnson.
Let's go back-to-back corners here.
Back-to-back corners to start off this 2025 NFL mock draft. It's been an issue, right? And they're trying different things. They're moving guys that played safety to corner and vice versa. They're trying to figure it out, but I think Will Johnson certainly makes it happen. In fact, I think Indianapolis would have taken a corner, right? I think they would have gone with a Quinion Mitchell or something like that had Latu not been available. You understand what I'm saying? So certainly makes a lot of sense with Will Johnson going to Indy. Tennessee. Are you finished with the Will Levis experiment?
Yeah,
are you finished?
I've been done with that. I've been done, man.
I'm off that.
I've been off of that. I'm not a big Will Levis guy, so I'm ready to go get that quarterback, the quarterback of the future right here.
Okay.
So for us right now, it's either Shador or Cam Ward. I just don't know if Prime is signing off to go play in Tennessee, bro. I think Cam Ward would have to be the pick here. He's our new QB1, right?
Sure.
So let's go Cam Ward to the Tennessee Titans. Let's get this offense right.
All right. Cam Ward, big Cam, just led a touchdown drive there. So Miami pulls within 3 with about 7 minutes left. So need to stop. Jacksonville, this has been a very, very disappointing team, bro. This is another 0-3 team, man. Man, look. It's bad in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
And frankly, they are too talented to be this bad. It's like the Bengals from an expectation perspective, right? No way you expect either of these two teams to start the season 0-3, right? So how do you fix it? What do you do to fix it? Or how do we start to fix it here in the draft?
Oh, man. Trevor Lawrence, we're not going to replace him. He's still the quarterback, but I think they need a whole new to be honest, I don't even think it's players. It's the front office, it's the
Mm,
ownership. I think that's
mm,
the biggest issue right now in
hmm.
Jacksonville. From the top down, so
Yeah.
owner, GM, head coach, I think they all need to go. But we know the owner ain't going nowhere. So we could go tackle. We could go tackle. You could go get another receiver, like you said, T Mac to Jacksonville. I don't know. I don't know if tackle does it though, man. I think tackle is probably the biggest need. But I don't think a tackle changes this organization at all, bro. So we might have to go sexy. We might have to go sexy.
This is
You
another
say,
team that needs to address the corner position. Of course, the top two are off the board already, so we probably wouldn't go in that particular direction. You went receiver first round last year, and by all accounts, the young man is as advertised, right? He just hasn't necessarily gotten consistent quarterback play, and he's a rookie, right? He's feeling his way. Brian Thomas out of LSU. But you've seen the flashes already.
yeah,
A few weeks into the season, you can already tell, right? When you're just talking about just from a pure talent perspective, McMillan, Burden, that makes sense from a pure talent perspective. But I gotta rebuild Trevor Lawrence's confidence, bro. I gotta rebuild it. So does that come in the form of another weapon, or does that come in the form of solidifying the protection up front? That's the question for me. It has to be about Trevor Lawrence. We can't change the owner, right?
yeah.
We can't change that. So what can we impact? What can we change here as it relates to Trevor Lawrence's on-field performance? What do you think is more
Yeah,
impactful? What do you think is more pressing?
I think the tackle is more pressing. To
Okay.
be honest, I think corner is the biggest need. I'm looking at the corners right now. They desperately need a corner, but like you said, Will Johnson, Travis Hunter's off the board. I'm a big Benjamin Morris guy.
Yep.
So Benjamin Morris is he's an option here as well. But like you said, it's all about Trevor Lawrence and rebuilding his confidence. So we could go get a Kevin Banks Jr.
Okay.
Here to protect him. And because the receivers, I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like Christian Kirk. They do need another receiver. We probably could get one a little later for them. So yeah, let's go Kevin Banks Jr., the big tackle from Texas.
Mississippi Nebraska likes a trade of Lawrence to Miami, and Miami, or rather Jacksonville, taking Shador. Interesting thought.
That is interesting.
Interesting thought. Let's go Kevin Banks Jr. here to shore up this offensive line.
I'm talking about the New York Giants. We
Oh
set it
yeah.
up for you, bro.
Yeah. 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 Let's go Jake Moody, the kicker.
Right.
Oh man, Shador's the pick, man. There really isn't a whole lot to think about here. What do you think about Daniel Jones's performance thus far?
He's been playing well. He's been getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's been hitting Malik. He
Gotta hit
knows.
Malik.
Yeah,
Gotta
he
hit
knows.
Malik, bro.
You got to give him 15 targets a game, and then he's sprinkling Wandell Robinson as well.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line, I think they're playing decent. So he might play himself into another year in New York, man, if he continues to play this way. But if they got the 5th pick in the draft, that means he probably struggled, bro. So I'm gonna go Shador Sanders.
Right.
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off for you, D-Kit, man. I'm going Shador Sanders. Let's get rid of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, you need to reset. You need to reset. I think for more reasons than one. Of course, the Giants seemingly have a competent starting five along the offensive line. That certainly has helped. Malik Neighbors is a difference maker. That's evident. While you can see some embers, you can see some flashes from Daniel Jones, just not the consistency, not necessarily making all of the right plays within the red zone. You're settling for field goals. You know what I mean? Like, you got to cash in. You understand what I'm saying? But I look at it from not only his play or inconsistency, but also the cap figure. So we can now reset things with the rookie contract in a Shador, a player that we believe is a better prospect coming in and obviously has a higher ceiling. So Shador Sanders clearly was the pick. Carolina, man.
They need a quarterback. They
Oh,
need a
man.
quarterback.
Oh, man.
I hate to do it, man.
I
Bryson's my
hate it
guy,
too.
but
I hate it
Andy
too,
Dalton look a
man.
lot better in that offense, bro. I just think Andy Dalton just knows where to go with the football. He's a
Yes.
vet. He's been
Yes.
around
He's the vet.
forever.
He's the vet, bro.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I think Bryce Young, he's struggling. He's got bench, and I think Bryce is going to get another shot later on in the season. I think once Carolina, gets out of playoff contention, I think
Mm-hmm.
they're going to go back to Bryce Young, and that's when they're going to make the decision. These last
Yes.
3-4 games of the regular season, that's when the decision is going to be made
How do
on
you
Bryce
perform?
Young. How
How do
does
you
he
perform?
perform? And if he
Yeah.
doesn't, we're going to have to get a quarterback here. The next guy up was Carson Beck. But Mr. C said he's second roundish. So
Hmm.
Carson Beck hasn't really played up to that first top 10 pick billing. He has a big game this week against Alabama, so we'll see how he performs there. But man, yeah,
It could be a referendum, and that's one of the players that I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit here. So if we're talking quarterback at this point, it would in all likelihood be Carson Beck. But is Carson Beck playing good enough football for you to take him 6 overall?
yeah, it's a difficult decision, man. It's still more football to be played on Carson Beck.
Sure, sure.
So we'll see because last season, he showed pretty well, man. I like how he operates in the middle of the football field. He's one of
Yep.
those rhythm quarterbacks. He likes to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But outside the numbers now, if he holds on the ball too long, he's not in that rhythm. He kind of struggles a little bit, man. Sometimes he's inaccurate with passes that he should make.
Yeah.
So and you know what? I'm thinking more and more about this quarterback class. We get excited about this quarterback class, but I don't know if there's like a blue chip guy. Cam Ward is my number one right now, but it's like there's no Joe Burrows in this class, bro. There's
Sure.
no like upper echelon quarterback in this class. So we still like I said, there's a lot more football to play. So Cam Ward could play his way into that, or Shador Sanders. But if it's not Carson Beck, I probably have to go grab a tackle because Carolina needs help protecting the quarterback also. You don't look
Oh
confident about
man,
this Carson Beck guy here.
I do not like what I've seen this year.
Yeah.
I do not like what I've seen this year. And like I said, this Saturday could be a referendum on Carson Beck. He's going to have to play well. I think for them to come away with a win, and by well, I'm not talking about light up the scoreboard, but he's going to have to move the chain, some timely throws. Which even in that Kentucky game, we broke down that all 22 on the Patreon. Check us out. And it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but there were that handful of throws, movement in the pocket that kind of gives you that sense of, he has something there, even though it's not consistent. We've questioned, the play of the offensive line this year. They've kind of underachieved. Don't necessarily have that clear go-to receiver outside the numbers. Obviously, no Lab McConkey, no Brock Bowers. They're now in the NFL, clearly. So that's kind of the question mark, right? That's kind of the rub, so to speak, as it relates to Carson Beck. But assuming that Carolina moves on from Bryce Young, which again, I'm not convinced. I'm still holding out hope for Bryce Young. One Bryce Young. I think you're right. I think once things are a little bit more said and done, as in terms of the long-term prospects of this season, they will go back to him to figure out what they have. But assuming Bryce Young isn't there, I think Carson Beck is the pick, bro. I think he is the pick. I just don't feel great about it, right?
Yeah.
Especially on the heels of Bryce Young not working out. I don't feel great about this pick, but I certainly understand it. Carson Beck to Carolina. Baltimore, another team that's underachieving here.
A little bit.
We certainly had higher expectations at a minimum. Certainly had higher expectations for them. What do you do here in Baltimore? I'm of the mindset that you got to improve this offensive line. I know we've talked about the weapons, and it'd be hard to pass up McMillan and Burden. That's
Yeah.
tough.
That's
That's
where I'm
tough.
looking. I'm looking at the
That's
wide
tough.
receiver position for Lamar. The Baltimore Ravens, the team, they've tried. They've tried to draft
They
wide
have.
receivers. Bateman, some other guys before then. They drafted Zay Flowers. I think he's been playing really well. So I like Zay Flowers there. But other than Zay Flowers, it's like there's no other receivers on the football team that I'm comfortable with. I think Bateman's playing a little better this season, but he's always battled injuries. So
Hmm.
it'll be hard for me to pass up T Mac here in Baltimore. I know the offensive line needs improvement as well. Makari is not playing well. Ronnie Stanley isn't the same Ronnie Stanley in previous years. So tackle is a big position for
Yeah.
them. But T-Mac, man. That's who I
Yeah,
like, man.
yeah. I think the responsible thing would be the tackle position. I think that would be the most responsible move. But as you mentioned, Baltimore has been trying for ages now to get this thing figured out at receiver on the perimeter. And we've seen what a special receiver can do. He is the top receiver in the class as far as we're concerned at this juncture. That probably won't change. As much as I like Luther Burton, that probably won't change. It was actually McMillan overtaking Burton for me. One of the other things is, and I know Drew's talked about this previously, is the fact that we've been looking for some size outside the numbers, right? You
Yeah.
got Isaiah Likely, obviously, in the middle of the field. He can do his thing. Flowers is a smaller receiver. Of course, he can make plays at every level, but McMillan is another player that can make plays at every level, but he actually represents some size, gives you more catch radius. He gives Lamar, more room for error in terms of his throws, right? You know what I mean? A guy that can just go and make a play for me. So I think I'm gonna pivot from the typical couch potato general manager approach, which is inside out here, and go with McMillan because, again, this is just a position that Baltimore's been trying to figure out for so long. So, one McMillan out of Arizona to Baltimore. That takes us to Denver. Big win against Drew's Bucks, man.
Oh yeah, that was an upset there. Bo
Mm-hmm.
Nix was out there doing his thing, huh?
You seen him? Seen him
Big
doing his
Bo.
thing out there? Big Bo.
They too could use a receiver, but I think the trenches. I think we gotta go to trenches for Denver, whether
Okay.
it's offensive line or that big boy out there in Kentucky that we like. I think he's an option for them as well, along the defensive line.
You're thinking either side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Wide receiver is a big need for them as well, but I
It
think the
is.
trenches. I think they could use some help on the trenches.
I think it's okay.
I'm thinking the boy from Kentucky. DK said Mason
Mm.
Graham.
Big Walker. What's Denver doing defensively? Right. If you're a 4-3 and you need a prototypical 3 technique, I want Mason Graham. If I'm a little bit more multiple, I want a guy who could play 0, 3, 4-eye, 5. You know what I'm saying? Then I want Walker. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
them.
So it really is what kind of defense you're deploying here.
I think they're an odd man front.
Mm-hmm.
They stand up their linebackers on the
Edge
outside on the
rushers.
edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
thinking Deion Walker makes more sense than a Mason Graham here.
Okay. Walker it is. Takes us to the LA Rams, who have been ravaged by injury. Big win against San Francisco, team that's struggling in their own right. Uh, what do you do with the Rams here, man?
They got a lot of injuries right
They
now.
do. They do.
On the offensive line, the wide receiver position. I think the defense needs some improvement on the back end. I like what I see from the front with Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Fisk, Jared Verse. I think corner. I think corner is a big need for them. The back end, they're getting burnt.
Yeah, they
So
are.
my guy Benjamin Morrison makes a lot of sense here for the Rams.
I agree with you. I think when you add Morrison to the mix, they got a nice group, young talented group. Trey White seemingly on his last line. He looks like a shell of himself. He doesn't
Yeah, he
look
does.
like he's returned to his form prior to a series of injuries. So that pick makes a lot of sense. I like it. Benmo to the Rams. All right, let's round out the top 10. The Commanders, the Jaden Daniels led Commanders. Issues in the secondary as well. Their secondary is
Oh
struggling too.
yeah, that is true. I
Can,
seen
can
they
we
had
add him
Mikey out. I think they had Mikey outside
on the
one on
boundary,
one
bro?
with Jamar Chase on the boundary.
No,
I'm
no, you
like,
can't. No.
their corners are that bad where we got to put Mikey, a nickel corner, on the outside against Jamar Chase. So,
Yeah,
yeah, outside corner is a big need for these guys. That's a glaring hole. If it's not that, then
yeah.
maybe offensive line. But, they inserted Brandon Coleman to the left tackle position.
Hmm.
And offensive line hasn't been an issue for them this
No,
season like
no,
we
it
thought it
hasn't.
would be.
No, it hasn't.
So,
I think they made some shrewd acquisitions this past offseason, right? They developed a couple players, and a couple of their acquisitions have worked out pretty well. Some proven commodities, not upper echelon players, obviously, but solid additions that have stabilized things up front. So while I think it's certainly an area that they can improve, right? If we feel very strongly about like a Will Campbell here, I wouldn't bat an eyelash at that. But I think there's some other areas of this team that we have to consider as well.
But who's the next corner? So that's the question. Do we get pass upon like a Malaki Starks or Abdul Carter to get the fourth corner in the class?
No. I wouldn't go that far.
Exactly.
I'm fine with either Carter or Starks.
Let's
I
go
think
get Abdul, bro. Let's go get
Abdul. Okay.
Abdul
Okay.
Carter. Because that's how you shore up your secondary. Also, you get a
Yeah.
guy that can get
Yeah.
after the passer.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. I was gonna say Malachi Starks, but I get it. Front to back. So I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna fight it. Cleveland. I've been saying it over and over, and obviously these teams are picking fairly high here. Another team that has been disappointing, and what's been most disappointing hasn't been quarterback play. That's been bad, below average, and then further exacerbated by the fact that they can't field a healthy offensive line, a competent offensive line. It's the defense, bro. I was expecting this Browns defense to be sticky, bro.
Me too.
What do you do here in Cleveland?
Yeah, like you said, the defense is their strong suit. But like they haven't been playing up
They
to it.
haven't played up to it.
But
No.
I gotta go. I gotta get the offensive line, man. There's been
Yeah.
a lot of injuries there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind Will Campbell here. To
Yeah.
protect Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Whether it's Watson, Winston, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have to fix their offensive line, bro. This used to be a position of strength for Cleveland. I know. And last year they had a myriad of injuries, and this year they've kind of rolled right back into it. It's caught up with them. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, we haven't seen Conklin in ages. Dawan Jones. It's just they can't get the same five on the field. Wyatt Teller has had his injuries. They simply cannot get the same five on the field for consecutive weeks. So Will Campbell makes a ton of sense right here. Chicago, another team.
O-line.
That needs to go to the offensive line. I want to go back to last year's draft, and we talked about what Chicago should do with the first overall pick, and then of course they had 2 first-round selections, right? So even if you decide to move off of Justin Fields, go get a quarterback, what do you do with the 9th overall pick? You know what I mean? What do you do at that point? And certainly I get it. I understand the selection of Rome Odunze. That's kind of your 1B effectively there with DJ Moore. Terrific player, deserving of that early selection without question. But I maintain that they had an issue along the offensive line. Now, the offensive line, from a pass protection perspective, has not been good. They also haven't been terrible, right? But what has exacerbated their struggles in terms of pass protection is the fact that they can't run. They can't run the football. So you're always on your heels. You understand what I'm saying? You're always catching the defender as opposed to attacking. So it's tough, bro. It's tough. That decision, I think, looms large. They have to fix the offensive line, right? Otherwise, we run the risk of having the same issue they had with Justin Fields, right? Different players, same issue. If you let these young quarterbacks get hit too much, bro, it's going to take a toll. It's going to take a toll. And we already know that Caleb is still working on processing and getting the ball out on a timely fashion, right? Because, of course, his playmaker gene says, you know what? Extend it. Give my receivers an opportunity to uncover. You understand what I'm saying? So definitely think we should go offensive line. The question is, who is the value there?
Yeah, I don't even think it's a tackle per se. They have an interior guy that could play there as well. I know we're big on Tyler Booker from Alabama. So I think he might be the best interior guy in the class right now. And then the tackle position, after the first 2, then you got the Emory Hunts of the world. Emory Jones, I call him Emory Hunt. Emory Jones of the world.
Shout out Emory Hunt.
Yeah, Emory Jones. Josh Simmons is more, I think he's more finesse, zone blocking scheme, a little lighter there. I think he's more of a pass blocker, but Blake Miller on the right side. We like what we saw against Georgia with Blake Miller. So
yeah, Wyatt Millam is going to move up. He's definitely going to move up here in the rankings. And our next update.
Yeah, I think Emory Jones.
Emory Jones, you're leaning towards Emory Jones.
Guy, but Darnell Wright, they're both right tackles. We have to move one of them to the left side. Yeah, it's tough, man. do we just go get the interior offensive lineman? But I think it might be a little too early for that.
Yeah,
For Tyler
yeah. I
Booker.
wouldn't force it. I wouldn't force it. Up front, along the defensive line, who you got playing opposite Sweat Montez?
Right now, I think the next guy up, he's not starting yet, but I think Austin Booker probably
Mm-hmm.
beginning of next season will be the opposite of Montez Sweat. I like what he showed in the preseason. They brought in Daryl Taylor from Seattle as well. So those are the guys opposite Sweat right now.
I
We might
like
have to go
Booker.
Emery. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the offensive line as well.
yeah.
I'm leaning
We gotta
towards
do
it.
something. Let's go get Emery, man. From
That makes sense, D Kid. That makes sense. We still working on that feature within our mock draft simulator, but certainly trading back, trying to garner some value would make sense for sure. In this particular instance, I'm with you, Headley. Let's go Emory Jones, and we'll figure out how to get our best five on the field. That takes us to the Dallas Cowboys, and I think you got to go Luther Burden.
That's what I was thinking too, man.
Yeah,
Wide receiver.
they just have a dearth of weapons, whether it be at the receiver position or in the backfield. Jerry Jones has handcuffed this team, bro.
Yeah.
Again, D Kid doesn't want Luther Burden in his division. um, but Jerry Jones, I guess trying to grab headlines, I suppose. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. At any rate, by waiting as long as he did, they really put themselves in a rough spot as far as being able to add veteran free agents. You understand what I'm
Ooh,
saying? So,
that's a genty. Ooh, I like that.
ooh,
I like that, DK.
ooh. I didn't even consider it just yet,
Yeah,
bro.
I saw Burden on there too. I was like, okay, get Burden, but they
Mm,
do need that running back in Genty.
mm.
Genty, I think we got to get Luther
I
Burden
think you got to
though.
get Burden.
It's
I think you got to get
interesting
Burden.
with
It
Ashton
is
Genty,
very
but
interesting. The other issue with this Dallas team is their interior defensive line.
see,
Bad.
Mozzie had a pretty good game.
He did.
He had his best
He
game of his
did.
career yesterday.
Best game of his career. So hopefully he's turning a corner. Hopefully he's turning a corner. But you got guys like Mason Graham and Tyleek out here, bro.
Mm, yeah,
So
there's a lot of good wide receivers in this slide. We can
yeah,
get one later.
yeah.
We
Burden
can get one
sliding.
later.
Burden sliding. Oh man.
So you want to get a Mason Graham,
Yeah, I think so.
3 tech, put him next to Mozzie?
Yeah, bro. Let's go Mason Graham. Yeah. Let
Let's
me
do
think
it.
about it. Let me think
Nah,
about
I'm
it.
with you.
Think about it. You good with the Mason Graham? Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm good with
Let's
it,
do it.
bro. Because it's so much good receivers. We can get a
Yeah.
receiver in the second round for Dallas.
I think from a skill set perspective, Luther Burden, his superpower is what he does after the catch. You already had that in CD. You know what I'm saying? CD is a difference maker after the catch as well. So a little bit different in terms of their body types, but just in terms of what I think they do best, I think there's a lot of parallels there. So let's go Mason Graham here to Dallas, which takes us to the Finns.
I need a quarterback, right?
Miami. You might need a quarterback.
I don't know. You boy Tua, man.
Could use some beef up front.
Oh
We
yeah.
just went with Mason Graham. I think we're really high on Tyleek as well. I think he'd be a good fit there. Corner, maybe a Jabbar Muhammad at this point. I
Yeah.
think that's an area of
The next.
this team that needs to improve.
I always say about Miami, man, you got all the sexy you need, bro. It's that interior, that meat and potatoes, the trenches. I think that's what's stopping them, especially when they get to the playoffs. If they get to the playoffs, it's the trenches, man. You got to be able to run the ball and
Physicality,
stop the run.
physicality, bro. Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. They're missing it. I think Tyleek can certainly help in that regard. Let's go with Tyleek Williams here at Ohio State. I think Mississippi Prescott, I think you called it. Burden to the Raiders.
Let's get it.
I think Devontae Adams, this might be his last year as a member of the Raiders. So let's go with Luther Burden here. Bring in the Vegas. Green Bay on the clock. You see Jair. Jair was healthy, balling. And now Jair hurt.
You got hurt?
Yeah.
Well, I love
I mean, that's a great question. Like, I just don't know how much more he has in the tank, right? Great guy for the locker room, terrific player for a long time, but exactly how much can he help you
Boy, it's falling, man. I'm trying to get your boy in there, Malaki, but they got two good safeties in Green Bay with McKinney and Bullard. They might need another corner
Yeah.
though. I think they can use another corner.
I think Jabbar fits the bill.
Maybe a Jabbar Muhammad right here, opposite Jair Alexander.
Jabbar, I'm not mad at it.
What else? What do you think Green Bay need? Maybe another pass rusher.
Yeah,
You know,
I think they
see
could
my
use
boy
another
Van
pass
Ness,
rusher.
DK.
I saw.
Van Ness
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it. I knew you were gonna.
Van Ness getting after the quarterback, DK.
Oh
Give him
man,
some time, man.
what do you think about Starks and then move Bullet to play nickel? Or is that just too much?
I
Is
like
that too
it.
much?
No, that's not too much.
Okay, it's not too
Bullard
much.
could play nickel.
Yeah.
So you put Malaki Starks at free, get stronger in corner by moving Bullard there. Let's do it, bro. I like it, man.
All right, let's do it. You're not gonna get no argument out of me.
Yeah.
Malaki, safety one. Detroit on the clock.
The Lions.
What do the Lions need, bro?
We see Jameson coming into his own wide receiver with St. Brown. So I like that. The offensive line is still a strong point for these guys.
It is.
But
they may need to address the interior this upcoming draft of that offensive line. That's what I'm thinking too.
Interior
I believe they re-up with Decker. So your tackles are straight right now.
They might need another pass.
We need somebody opposite him. Yeah. We need somebody opposite Hutchinson.
Yeah, let's go somebody opposite Hutchinson.
Okay. All right. Princely? Skirting? Princely?
I think Skirton is rising above Princely. I haven't seen much of Princely. They haven't played anybody yet. So.
They haven't played anybody, but Princely looks good, bro.
He looks good. Okay.
Yeah. DK, no. We are not taking James Pierce over Princely or Skirton. I will not have it. You got to show me something. You got to show me something, man. That being said, there's some concerns with Tyler Barron leaving Tennessee and everything. Where they were going to get, some pass rush from. A lot of guys have stepped up in Tennessee. And some other guys have really stepped up.
Yeah, I like Tennessee defensive line, especially the interior of that defensive line. Yeah. But yeah, I'm
Landon Jackson.
Scouting.
Okay.
I'm scouting here.
Scouting?
Yes.
I think he fits. I think he fits that mold.
Nasty.
Yeah. I think he definitely fits that mold. Landon does too. I would agree with that. But I think Skirton has a little bit more upside there.
Especially pass rushing. I know Drew's mentioned Landon Jackson not being affecting the passer much this season like we've hoped. So I think Skirton gets after the quarterback a little better than Landon.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. San Fran. They got to figure out. Your boy Trent Williams is hurt. Yeah, Dana, I'm with you. I think San Francisco got to find a replacement for Trent Williams. They look different. The offense is different. Sans Christian McCaffrey, sans Deebo Samuel, obviously you're going to take a step back, right, in terms of your productivity. But what Trent Williams means to this team, bro, he's indispensable, though. And the reality is that Trent Williams is in the latter part of his career. He's like 36, 37. You understand what I'm saying? And he might be the most important player on that offense. So how do we replace him at this point in the draft?
Ain't nobody here gonna replace him, man. Josh Simmons fits the scheme really well. He could move really well, get to the second level. Blake Miller is also a guy that could move at the tackle position. He's played right tackle for Clemson. But I don't know. I don't think I'll draft any of those guys here at 18. I think it's a little bit too early for that. Maybe your boy Perkins, man. They need a second level defender that can come on pass rush also.
All right. So we don't think there's necessarily a tackle that so set aside, replacing Trent Williams, right? We're trying to be competent along the offensive line. There is no Trent Williams in the draft at this point. So what do we do? Do we pivot to a Harold Perkins? Of course, there's a need opposite the star in the middle there.
Fred Warner.
Do we feel good about our pass rush opposite Nick Bosa?
He's another one. Leonard Floyd's an older player.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like the pass rusher here. But that's the thing about Perkins. He can kind of do both, right? He can kind
Yeah,
of play second level,
yeah,
come down and be a pass rusher also.
yeah,
He's out for the year.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the question mark there as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You're already dealing with the injury of Dre Greenlaw. Do you go back to the well with a guy coming off of an injury? Would you prefer to see him go back to school, play a season, get help? You know what I'm saying? And then
Hmm.
you know,
So you
um,
think an edge rusher, like a
I
Princely?
think maybe edge. I think maybe edge. If not offensive line, if not we reach a little bit. I'm thinking edge. I'm thinking Princely. You know how I feel about Ashton Gillette.
Oh yeah,
Especially the way he can kind of reduce down and do damage in the interior. So one of those two guys.
yeah. Let's go Princely. Let's go Princely.
Okay.
The prototypical edge. Put him opposite Nick Bosa. We'll see what he does this week. Tomorrow against Kentucky. I'm gonna put some eyes on him because I haven't really gotten to evaluate him for this season with Ole Miss. I know what he looked like in Florida. He was a dominant player at Florida. So
Yeah.
let's go with Princely.
Yeah. He's off to a fast start as well. They haven't played again the competition, but he's off to a fast start as well. He's harassing quarterbacks. He's in the backfield, disrupting, showing that elite first step. That first step quickness is crazy. Philly on the clock. Hey man, what's wrong with the Eagles, bro? What's wrong with them? Diagnose it.
Honestly, what I saw last season from the Eagles is I thought they got too pass happy with Jalen Hurts in shotgun, and I thought they needed more like movement in their offense, like send guys in motion, do just be more creative on the offensive
Yes.
side of the
Yes.
football. I thought it was
Yes.
very vanilla. I thought
Hmm.
defensive knew what they were running. It was easy to diagnose for them. So for this season, I like that they're giving Saquon the ball more, running the football. I think that's what they were missing because when Philadelphia was dominant, they were running the football. The offensive line was bestial. So Saquon is giving them that running element. So uh, they got
Hey,
Saquon, they got Hurts. What you say?
too much, too much tush pushing. Listen, Dana, I don't disagree with that. I thought coaching really hurt them last year.
That's what I think.
I think
Coaching.
it's moderately improved this year, just because of the coaches that they have. Right, Kellen Moore is going to leverage his running back. He's going to do motion along the offense. Kind of mix things up a little bit more. I've already seen that to a certain degree. I think the areas that Philadelphia has taken the biggest steps back, and we know that they just have struggled to field quality linebackers, or those players have walked in free agency, right? Um, they don't control the line of scrimmage the way they did previously,
Yeah.
right? From an offensive line perspective, displacing guys and the pass rush, bro.
The pass
Pass
rush.
rush,
I was going there next.
bruh.
The
The
pass
pass
rush
rush,
ain't looking good. They
it's
got
not
rid of
even remotely close to what it was. Like I didn't expect it to be the record-setting group that they had a couple seasons ago, but the kind of drop off and absolutely D kid, big time disappointment. And you try to give young edge rushers a little time, young defensive players in general. Anybody playing along the line of scrimmage, you want to give them a little time to develop, to get their sea legs. You know what I'm saying? I don't write guys off immediately, but um, when you have a roster is constructed as such, you have some very talented players around you. You got to win some one on ones, bro. You got to win some one on ones. So, this is a team that I think they got to address the edge.
Yeah, because you got rid of Hassan Reddick. You brought in Bryce Huff from the Jets. I was a fan of Huff with the Jets, but he's not getting any pass rush these first couple of weeks for Philadelphia. You guys mentioned Nolan Smith has been a disappointment. So yeah, I think pass rush. I think pass rush is the biggest need for them on the defensive side of the football. I like what they did in the secondary with Quinion Mitchell, brought back C.J. Gardner Johnson. So yeah, so the next best pass rusher we have here is you got Michael Williams from Georgia. You got your boy Pierce from Tennessee. You know who I like, man. He ain't even on the list right here, man. My boy from Georgia.
You
Uh,
think he's the different? You think he's different though among these Georgia
oh yeah, they missed on Nolan
pass
Smith, so they
rushers?
might be hesitant to go back to another Georgia edge rusher. But I think he's different. I like the physicality he plays with. I like he can bend around the edge. So I'm a big fan of
Jalen
Jalen
Walker.
Walker.
I'm not mad at it because, like I said, I like Gelati, but I think his best snaps come when he's playing in the interior, right? Michael, it's really a question of whether or not you think he can develop into a difference maker as a pass rusher, right? Some do, some do. So I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. I just don't know that you're going to get an immediate boost in terms of his pass rush just yet. D Kid is like, nah, not we're not taking Jalen Walker over Michael. Michael's upside is insane, but so is Walker's. So is Walker's.
So I
And
think Michael plays the run better than
oh yeah,
Jalen
oh yeah.
Walker. Love how he extends his hands, sets the edge. But if you're looking at a pure pass rusher, a guy to get after the quarterback, then that's Jalen Walker. So what are you looking for in Philadelphia? A guy to get after the quarterback or a guy to help in the run game?
Well, again, the question with Michael is what is he? What do you think he's going to become? Right. So from immediate purposes, I think Walker gives you more in terms of a pass rush. Overall prospect, we have Michael rated higher at this juncture. Do you think he's a better prospect than Jalen Walker is? That's the question.
I think he's safer,
Mm,
meaning, hey, I might not be a double digit sack guy at the next level, but I come in immediately, bring physicality to a defense, help in the run game, and I get you like 5, 6 sacks a season. I could do that for you. I think Jalen Walker is more of a guy that's like he could potentially get double digit sacks at the next level. And you say too much like Nolan. I just think Walker plays with more physicality, more physical presence than the Nolan Smith. So maybe size wise they're comparable. I just feel like Walker has more dog in him, man.
mm, mm. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. By the way, Jalen Carter's starting to figure it out, bro.
Oh,
He he
that's,
he
you
he's
saw it from
starting.
last season though.
Yeah.
Last
You saw the
season,
flashes. You saw the flashes,
yeah,
but now he putting it all together, bro.
yeah, he's a guy.
I think he's kind of figuring out like, yeah, I'm that guy, bro. He's definitely
Mm-hmm.
figuring out. Helly, I mean, I know how you feel about Jalen Walker, bro. Like I'm perfectly okay pissing off the Eagles fans, bro. I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't have a problem with it,
They're
bro.
gonna be
If you
another
feel that
Georgia guy,
strongly,
but they both
yeah,
Georgia guys that we
they're both
mentioned though.
Georgia players. They're
They're
both
both
Georgia
Georgia
players.
guys.
Michael is the more ballyhooed prospect, but we're already starting to see the signs where people like Jalen Walker is turning heads. He is turning heads now. I think Nolan Smith was a good college player that had an incredible workout,
Mm-hmm.
and that certainly bolstered his prospect. And I'm not ready to give up on him either. But to your point, Walker, to me, better pass rusher than Michael, better pass rusher than Nolan Smith, better pass rusher than Walker. He's already demonstrated that, right? And that's the name of the game here in Philadelphia. At the height of their powers, it was the waves and waves of pass rushers and the ability to affect the pass on a consistent basis. So I'm with it. I'm with it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, Eagles fans, have
Upset.
have
What's
have thrown their controller at this point. New England on the clock.
New England?
Mm-hmm.
They're not in the top 10.
Not at the moment, but when this update happens, when this update happens, they could use an edge, and I think Michael actually is the
Yeah,
perfect type of edge for them.
that's the kind of edges they like over there.
That is the kind of edges they like. Yep.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, Michael Williams. That takes us to the Jets. Do you go get the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers here? Address a different area. Well, Keon putting it together too, D Kid. Man.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Keon
man.
White. He's doing his
Yeah.
thing. Oh yeah.
A great point here by Dana, by the way. I wanted to make sure that we unpack this a little bit. You're right. They got a more proven commodity in terms of a defensive mind here, but as you mentioned, the league is starting to make its adjustments. They're counterpunching. Right? And the reality is with match quarters cover 6, you got to get home with 4. And they haven't been able to do it. The only guy that's consistently doing anything is Jalen Carter right now. Josh Sweat ain't getting it. You know who else is balling, by the way, in like his 30th year? Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham's still getting it done, but he's not an every down player. He's not an every down player. You know what I'm saying? All right. What do we do with the Jets? I think this team needs a receiver. Obviously, Garrett Wilson. There's too much pressure on Garrett Wilson.
They got
among the receivers, we got Bond, Tez Johnson, Lacey, Abuka, Stewart, Trey Harris. Those are the top guys right there.
I like Isaiah Bond here. Put some speed.
Yeah.
With Garrett Wilson for Aaron Rodgers. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You see your boy Will McDonald starting to make some plays
there
for the Jets.
Yeah. Young
losing
pass
Jermaine
rushers.
Johnson. I like Isaiah Bond here. Put some speed with Garrett Wilson and on the receivers.
All right, stretch that defense. I like the physicality that Bond is playing with here at Texas too. They're just getting the ball to him however they can, and he's showing some physicality in terms of his run after the catch. Dana's Cardinals.
You saying Dana? Kyler Murray looking healthy right now. Hitting Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. Defense, man. If I'm Arizona, I'm going defense.
Bolden, Golden, and Bond. Yeah, man. They got the weapons. No question about it. DT and Edge, I got the perfect guy for you. You can get that in one player.
Galletti.
I'm
with it. Let's get that.
Oh, Ashton. Yeah. Check out his tape, Dana. If you haven't seen it yet, check out Ashton Galletti's tape, especially what he does when he reduces down interior defensive lineman as a pass rusher. He's a good edge, sets a real good physical edge. But yeah, I might stamp him, bro. Stamp him. I might need to stamp him.
Yeah, do it now because they gonna.
I got.
Well, they gonna watch that Notre game tomorrow. Notre Dame game tomorrow. Stamp him, bro.
Right.
We talking about him.
Your boy Jordan Reed. You feel me?
He's gonna be on him.
Let's go with Galletti out here. Yeah, pair him up with Darius Robinson. Yes. In fact, that's what you want. I mean, he certainly can play a 5 technique, but you want him as a 4-3 edge, and again, in passing downs, moving to the inside. I like that one. A good fit there for Arizona. Atlanta, Helly, what you doing?
Man, bro. It doesn't matter what the Falcons.
It doesn't what? I was going to say you could pair up an Ashton Jeanty with a Bijan, bro.
Oh, that's crazy. No, I'm about to say, man, it doesn't matter what the Falcons do. We're never going to be able to get after the passer, bro. I think we got like a lifetime curse of getting after the passer. We added a Matthew Judon.
Since John Abraham, bro.
1 year of
Vic Beasley. 1 year of Vic Beasley, bro.
We're still like a bottom 3 in total pressures. Can't get after the quarterback.
Oh, man.
Edge. We might have to just keep drafting edges until we can get after the quarterback. Right?
So you hit?
Yeah.
You okay with Pierce at this point?
Pierce?
Or do you go Jabbar opposite?
I like Jabbar.
Your boy?
Yeah. You know what? Let's do that, man. Let's go get Jabbar Muhammad opposite AJ Terrell. I think corner is a big need for these guys as well. Other than edge. So yeah, let's get the corner right now.
All right. Handful more picks here. We got KC on the clock.
I know the pick. I'm just playing.
Easy.
I'm about to say Jeanty, bro. Let's go get Jeanty. Let's go piss the league off and get Ashton Jeanty.
Oh my goodness. Let's do it. Oh man. That's a problem right there, boy. Ooh. All right. Pittsburgh on the clock.
Steelers.
See that boy Joey Porter Jr., bro?
Doing his thing out there?
Doing his thing, bro.
Dante, they made a good trade.
Yeah, they healthy defensively. Yeah. They healthy defensively, bro.
Yeah, they got no issues on defense. They need a wide receiver, though. We could go get them a wide receiver.
They could add another one. Quinn Ewers, nah, B. Justin Fields got it. D-Kit.
Yeah. So they got Pickens on the outside. They could use a slot or a Z.
You don't like
I'm a
Calvin
big
Austin
Ted
in the slot?
Johnson guy.
You like Calvin Austin
You
out
like
there?
Calvin in the slot? Well, if that's the case. Kyron Lacy on the outside.
Mm.
We could add a Kyron Lacy here to Pittsburgh.
I'm not mad at it. Let's do it.
All right.
This is very non-Pittsburgh like. You know they like to get their receivers, day 2,
Later
day
on.
3. But Emeka's coming off a good game this past week, man. I need to see more from Emeka. I need to see more. As they really get into Big Ten play, I think he'll have his opportunity to not unlike Trey Harris, Kyron Lacy, to really push his star forward. But at this point, I'm with the Kyron Lacy. Helly, you good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. The Texans.
We got the receivers in place. They can use a
Interior
tight
D
end.
line, tight end.
Interior D line.
Mm.
They can use maybe a safety. I like the corners they have here. Stingley, Lester, Petrie. Petrie playing that nickel.
Got a young group at the second level. This team's actually in a pretty good position.
Oh yeah.
They could go best player available, I think. Can never have too many corners, that's for sure.
What's the
Are they all
interior
buttoned up?
looking like?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they all buttoned up along the D line?
Kenneth Grant. You know what? We didn't talk about it, but Kenneth Grant had his best game last
against
week,
USC.
and he was dominant, man. So I wouldn't be mad at Kenneth Grant here for Houston Texans.
Dana, is Amarian Hampton your top running back? Yeah. Kenneth Grant is oozing upside and ability, bro. He just, you see the flashes, big time flashes from him. I like it. Let's go Kenneth Grant here. Minnesota is also a team that could use some help in the interior defensive line, bro. Brian Flores is like a witch doctor, bro.
Beast,
bruh.
Man, shutting down everybody.
Everybody, bro.
Yeah, with Sam Darnold, of course.
Yeah, but DK, yeah, but no, it's weird. Like you look at him like, and then you see him playing, I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this from a coaching perspective and how the players have taken to the coach and how they're executing, it's been terrific in Minnesota. I do think they need some more bodies up front.
Wait, defensively?
You roll the dice on a Harold Perkins, roll the dice on him.
Oh, yeah. I like Harold Perkins, bro. In a Brian Flores defense.
In Brian Flores defense, right?
Yeah, he's gonna have Harold Perkins everywhere, doing everything. Yeah, let's go Perkins, bro.
All right, let's do it. Harold Perkins, New Orleans. Speaking of Jalen Carter, I had mentioned to y'all Brian Brzee too. The line of scrimmage discriminator.
Yeah, he's doing his thing over there.
Yeah,
and then Clint Kubiak doing some things with that offense.
You can roll the dice on the James Pierce at this point, I suppose.
Edge. No, I like that
right?
idea. Yeah, I like that idea.
Right? Interior, yeah, that's an area that they could address as well. I see Penning doing it. Was doing this thing out there, bro.
Penning? Fuago?
Yeah. This team has surprised me, bro. I thought the offensive line was going to be a swinging gate, but they've managed to put a little something together. That's why I'm not necessarily forcing the issue here. Or I wouldn't even call it forcing the issue. It's not as dire a issue as I had anticipated, Dana. So
when you have an offensive coordinator, whether it's Shanahan, Kubiak, certain offensive coordinators, certain schemes, like you don't need top level offensive line talent. You kind of make it work with the scheme. They could get guys like day 2, day 3, plug them into the offensive line, and it works. You see Shanahan do it all the time. You see teams, Kubiak teams do it all the time. So I think that's what's helping the offensive line more than anything is the scheme.
Yes, absolutely. What can expose that is when you have to get in that drop back game.
Exactly.
Right?
Like the Falcons. The Falcons is a perfect example of that. They can run the ball. The offensive line can get after it.
Play action off of that. All of you great. But when you have to get in that pure drop back type of situation, that's when the offensive line can kind of get exposed. But like I said, I think the way that they've played, the way that they've gelled to this point, I can live with going in a different direction. I.e., James Pierce, again, have some question marks about him, but I think actually represents really good value at this point in the first round.
Mr. C, he said Grab him a Simmons.
Yeah.
Josh Simmons, Ohio State.
Simmons? You like Simmons or you like Blake Miller?
Coming in, I was more Simmons over Miller. Blake Miller, I watched against that matchup against Georgia. He held up pretty well. But yeah, I'll probably still have Simmons over Miller until further notice.
Okay. Josh Simmons it is, Mr. C. Prasky. Lock it in.
Fuaga is a beast, man. I try to tell him, D-Kid. They didn't want to listen to the me about Fuaga, bro. And he transitioned.
My guy hurt. Really well. My guy got hurt
for the
man.
Steelers.
Yeah, he got hurt, man. He was doing his thing, but he got hurt. Okay. Charges? Do we add some weapons? Do we need to get younger? Joey Bosa stays injured.
Khalil Mack is a little older. What about their secondary? You like their secondary?
I don't love it. Well, Azariah had a good game last week.
Yeah, I haven't really watched him yet. He's doing good out there.
He played well last week.
I watched
definitely his best game of the season.
First 2 Florida State games, and that was it for me.
That was.
I might not go back.
You got to evaluate the talent, B.
All season, bro. I'll evaluate them then.
I'm leaning the D-line direction as well. I can definitely see a scenario where Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are no longer there. And Landon Jackson would be my preferred pick.
So you like Landon Jackson as an outside 3-4 outside linebacker?
No. I like his hand in the ground.
So you
I like
play
his
him
hand in the
more as a
ground.
5 tech?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. No. I think obvious passing situations they can go with a 4 down line. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so play 4-eye 5 tech here. Let's go Landon Jackson. I'm with that one. Mr. C. D-Kit. Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Buffalo, man. Buffalo got their young players playing well, man. Young players playing well. Von Miller's healthy. Josh Allen taking care of the football. Yeah, man.
My guy Khalil Shakur out there. Number 1 receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was trying to get him in a dynasty. You got me. I already knew. The order of the draft was coming back. I was like, he ain't gonna be there. Hell, gonna draft him.
What do you think about Keon Coleman, man? How you think he playing so far?
I like the fact that they're not putting a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
Right? They can ease him in. Hey, man, Al Paul, it never stops, my guy. It never stops, bro.
Grind never stops.
You know what I'm saying? It never stops, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, I really do like the way that they're easing him in. To me, he wasn't ready to make an immediate impact, be a Malik Neighbors, right? We're just going to pepper him. We're going to pepper him with targets. No. But the way that they're, easing him in, giving him opportunities, made a play here on Monday night, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be okay. And it's played out. It's played out better than I had anticipated, but along the lines of what I expected, right? I think it was some addition by subtraction by moving on from Stephon Diggs. He clearly wasn't happy. Team wasn't happy with him. You can go your own separate ways. Josh Allen is talented enough to raise the guys around him. You know what I'm saying? And let's be frank, Khalil Shakir is talented.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dalton Kincaid is talented. Keon Coleman is talented. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of them having to step up. You know what I'm saying? And Shakir's had an opportunity to develop, build that rapport. I love Kincaid. I think he's going to continue to get better and better. So, yeah, man, I really like how Buffalo has handled this transition. I still don't agree with the draft day trades that they made. Do not trade with Kansas City. Stop that. But otherwise, I think Buffalo's done a great job. And like I said, a lot of their young players, on the defensive side of the ball, in the secondary,
Dorian Williams too.
Yeah, Dorian Williams doing his thing at the second level. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm thinking edge here. Von Miller's getting older.
I'm with that.
Rousseau is a guy.
Rousseau's playing well.
But we kind of like him on the inside, rushing the quarterback.
You gonna do it? You gonna do it? Tyler Barron, you gonna do it?
Yo, you read my mind.
You gotta do it, bro. That's what Tyler Barron, bro. Yeah, I like it.
Read my mind on that one.
I like it. Notice how closely James Pierce and Tyler Barron are. All right. Clearly no longer in the 32 hole, but for the sake of this mock draft, they are. The Tampa Bay Bucks. Drew's beating his chest. He beating his chest about how his corner's playing, and we were all wrong.
Yeah.
We owed him an apology, and I'm trying to figure out what happened against Bo Nix. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
But I don't know who was the corners against Ole
No, I'm
Miss.
just talking. I'm just talking.
That's another.
I still think they need to address that position group. It may not be as pressing a need, but I still do think they need to address the cornerback position. More importantly is the pass rush, the lack thereof.
That's what I was looking at. The
More
pass
importantly.
rush. You got Yaya there, but
Mm-hmm.
JTS.
They'll get your boy back. The 3 tech. His name's escaping me. Pitt.
Oh, Kalijah Kancey.
Yeah. I don't think Kalijah's played yet this year.
Gotcha.
So, D Kid is lobbying for Jake Moody, and Mr. Prasky agrees they need a kicker.
Jake Moody.
I gotta watch David Bailey more closely because he's turning some heads as well. I'm waiting for Ohio State to get into their Big Ten play to see what's going on with these edges here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. Pass rush is probably their biggest need at this juncture.
I know Drew would hate if we go JT Tuamalo. I don't think Drew would like that one.
What about so like we're seeing a resurgence from Chris Godwin, but he may not be part of the long-term plans. Mike Evans is older.
Yeah.
You do have Jalen McMillan. Too soon for a receiver? Too soon?
I don't think so. I know Drew probably pushed back on that because he thinks Godwin and Mike Evans can play forever.
Forever, bro.
But I think McMillan is a slot guy. So I'll probably take Tez out. But how about his boy Trey Harris? I think he'll like the Trey Harris pick here in Tampa to be the Mike Evans replacement.
Okay. The heir apparent to Mike Evans. I'm not mad at it. Let's do it. We'll skip the cornerback position. We don't love the pass rushers that are available just yet. So we'll opt for Trey Harris here to be the long-term answer at the X for Tampa Bay. All right. I like it. Good mock draft here. Took our time with it. Very interesting how things have changed to this point, right? So Travis Hunter at the top. Cincinnati has some issues at the cornerback position. Of course, we like him moonlighting a little bit on the offensive side of the ball as well. Certainly not an every down player. We just can't imagine that at the professional level. But play him at corner, let him continue to develop there. And then, like I said, let him moonlight on the offensive side of the ball at times. From time to time, have a package for him. The Colts get their man at the cornerback position, Will Johnson. So back-to-back corners at the top of the draft. Our new quarterback one who led the comeback. Miami almost gave it away, but led the comeback. Cameron Ward, he struggled a little bit in this game against Virginia Tech, but he did march him down the field, got the go-ahead score. Kelvin Banks Jr., the thought process here was to kind of rehabilitate Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence's confidence seems to be in the shitter, bro. Like he's not playing. He's feeling, imagining the rush. You know what I'm saying? The ball placement is spotty at times. You still see a wild throw from time to time, but just the consistency hasn't been there. We think they probably need to change. A change, certainly at the coaching, among the coaching staff. But as you mentioned, Heather, you think it's organizational. You think this goes all the way to the top. Under those circumstances, we like to work inside out. So Kelvin Banks Jr. to shore up that offensive line. DK gets his guy, Shedeur Sanders, 5th overall, followed by Carson Beck. Again, not in love with this selection. I think best case scenario, Bryce Young is the guy, right? Bryce Young, gets the opportunity to take the man to command the controls once again in Carolina and acquits himself well. Puts a good month together and gives this new coaching staff the confidence that he can be the guy. I think that would be the ideal situation. If not, then you're in that conversation of a Carson Beck, because for us, clearly, Cam Ward and Shedeur are the top 2 quarterbacks in this class. We had another question in terms of perhaps addressing the offensive line, but we made mention of the fact that Baltimore has struggled to find that quintessential number 1 receiver, right? A guy with some size, right? We really like Zay Flowers, what he can do, but a guy with some size, bigger catch radius can make things easier on Lamar Jackson. Maybe not necessarily always having to go to the tight end to find that bigger option on the perimeter. So McMillan out of Arizona, Deion Walker to the Broncos. He can pretty much line up anywhere. It's an area of need for Denver. Heather, you talked about Benjamin Morrison and the fit in Los Angeles, and I love the pick. Not only does it fit a need, but he's a terrific player, and he would round out a very young but talented core. And I think just from a defensive standpoint, they're young and talented all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
You start to see Verse and Fisk pick it up a little bit here. You understand what I'm saying? Cam Kitchens is getting more playing time. You know what I mean? So dropping him in there, being a lead corner, could go a long way in terms of stabilizing that defense. Really have some foundational pieces in place. Abdul Carter, I know much of the chagrin of the kid, Abdul Carter lands in Washington. We were kind of mulling it back and forth. Do we go offensive line? Do we go corner? They have some issues on the back end. But Abdul Carter was just too good to pass up there. Will Campbell, much maligned offensive line here in Cleveland. They can't stay healthy or there's, guys are underperforming. So Will Campbell, who may very well be the first offensive tackle off the board. He lasts to 11 here in the mock draft. Send him to Cleveland. Emory Jones, his teammate. So back-to-back LSU tackles. He's a right tackle by trade, but, somebody's going to have to play left tackle. You know what I mean? Darnell Wright currently is a right tackle. And he's been a little bit up and down, of course. again, we talked about it earlier. I mentioned it, is that I would have gone in a different direction. I love Roma Dunze. I think he's certainly deserving of a top 10 pick, but I thought the Bears' offensive line was problematic, and it has proven to be so throughout this young season as well. So drop Emory Jones in here to shore it up. Another team that could, be in the mix for a receiver, particularly with Luther Burden on the board here in Dallas. We opted to go to the defensive side of the ball, right? Get that 3 technique, a guy who can affect the passer, a guy who can hold up against the run. You got Mike Zimmer's defense out there. He fits it perfectly, right? That even man front. You got those guys mugged up in the A gap. You know what I'm saying? You need a 3 technique who can be really disruptive. Pair him up with Mozzie Smith and really solidify the interior defense. Bolster your run defense as well. Tyreek Williams, again, another team that needs to get better in the trenches. The guy like Robert Hunt, letting him walk, tough loss. Christian Wilkins, tough loss. You understand what I'm saying? They have to get better on either side of the line of scrimmage. And for our money, Tyreek Williams was the best prospect for the Dolphins at this point. Luther Burden, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Devontae Adams will be back. Right? He seems. I get it, right? You play most of your career with Aaron Rodgers, and then you got to go to Gardner Minshew, bro. That you went to go play with your boy Derek Carr, right? Yeah. And he flames out. That was your boy. That's your college roommate, your best friend. All right, he's no longer there, so damn, that sucks. And then you got Minshew. You know what I mean? It's tough. So I'm not sure Devontae wants to be a Raider, to be perfectly honest with you. We replace him with Luther Burden. One more from me, and then I'm gonna let you take over, Headley. Malaki Starks to Green Bay, man. The thought process here was, we already have Bullard, Xavier McKinney. They're already paying dividends, big time. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, a healthy Jair Alexander changes the whole landscape of that Green Bay defense. But in this instance, we like the versatility that Bullard offers. We're going to move him into the slot, and we're going to pair McKinney and Starks together. And that might be the best safety duo in the league. In a year or two, that might be the best safety duo in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very impressive collection of defensive backs if it worked out that way. Nick Skirton's up here next to Detroit.
Yeah, Nick Skirton, man. We looked at the Detroit team. We like what Jameson Williams doing on the offensive side of the ball, getting that number wide receiver 2 with Amar St. Brown. I know the offensive line, the interior of the offensive line, Detroit could get a little retooling, but we wanted a guy opposite Aiden Hutchinson, man. So we went Nick Skirton. I know we was debating him or Princely. I just like Nick Skirton a little more than Princely right now. Next pick, we went Princely to the San Francisco 49ers to put him opposite Nick Bosa. After that, man, the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a long debate there on the Eagles of where they should go. And pass rusher. You lost Hassan Reddick. You brought in Bryce Huff. It hasn't really worked out. Nolan Smith, you drafted in the first round. He hasn't really looked right yet. So we got to get a pass rusher, man. And we're debating Michael Williams or Jalen Walker. And we chose Jalen Walker because of the pass rush upside over Michael. Michael's more of a run defender at this point. I think Jalen Walker is a guy that can get double-digit sacks at the next level. So we went Walker to the Eagles. And then right after that, we went Michael Williams. He fits the Patriots mold a lot better. Physical player, run defender, get you 6-7 sacks a season. Putting him next to Keon White, that's been playing excellent ball. And you have a good defensive line there for New England. After that, we went to the New York Jets, and they did another receiver. We talked about Devontae Adams earlier. Maybe he's a trade candidate to New York to put with opposite Garrett Wilson. But we're thinking about the future here with Isaiah Bond and Garrett Wilson. Nice guy in the slot with speed with Bond, and then Garrett Wilson, the route runner on the outside. I like those two pairing. And then after that, we went Ashton Gelati. I like it. Ashton Gelati. I love this tape at Louisville. He has the ability to play edge and slide inside on pass rushing downs. The physical edge, come inside, rush the quarterback. On the inside, Arizona has a need at both the data set, an edge and a tackle. So we got the best of both worlds right there with Gelati. Then Atlanta, we need a pass rusher here in Atlanta for ages. But we also need a corner opposite AJ Terrell, man. And we went Jabbar Muhammad, excellent ball skills. I like his hips fluidity, in and out of breaks, man. He's really good at reading the quarterback. A lot of instincts there at cornerback for Jabbar Muhammad. And then Kansas City, we just wanted to piss off the league. It's not a big need for the Chiefs. They got their running back, your boy number 10 over there, the physical runner, Isaiah Pacheco. So we went and got Ashton Jeanty, man. And Jeanty can be used in a lot of different ways. He can be used as a pass catch out of the backfield.
Like Brian Westbrook on steroids, bro.
Man, this man, the center of gravity, bro, the contact balance, the burst. He just got everything, man. I put him as a mixture between Kamara and Dalvin Cook. So that's pretty scary right there for your boy Jeanty. After that, we went Kyron Lacy, the big wide receiver out of LSU. I know Pittsburgh Steelers, they like to draft the receivers later on, but we want to put more weapons around Justin Fields. You got George Pickens on the outside, Calvin Austin on the inside, and we're going to pair Lacy with Pickens, man. I like those two big body receivers on the outside. Fields, you just got to throw it up to those guys, man. You don't got to be super accurate. Just throw it up to those guys. They'll come down with a catch. Then Houston, we went Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant had his best game of the season last week against USC. He's pass rushing chops. I know he's good as a run defender, but when he showed us a pass rusher last week, I was encouraged by that, getting after the quarterback, getting the quarterback on the ground. So we put him in that Houston defense. And Houston, they got a pretty good football team, man. Offensive side of the ball, you got Will Anderson on the edge. So you put Kenneth Grant in the interior. I like that a lot. And then the Minnesota Vikings, man, that's a dream come true with Harold Perkins paired up with Brian Flores. Flores is going to put him all over the place, the A gap, the B gap, the edge, second level linebacker.
Dallas Turner, Perkins.
Put them together. Yeah, man. It's just Brian Flores is a wizard right now, man. He's defensive coordinator of the year by far. He should be a head coach in this league coming up pretty soon. So man, we don't know how long he'll be there in Minnesota to have Harold Perkins.
It's that he might be there for a minute because of that lawsuit.
Yeah,
it could be that lawsuit. Yeah.
Come on, he needs to be a head coach, bro. But yeah, Harold Perkins in Minnesota, I like the fit. And then we got James Pierce Jr. I know a lot of people might not like how far James Pierce has fallen down the board. Some people had him as a number 1 pick coming into the season. I think it's excellent value here for the Saints. It's just we want to see more physicality from James Pierce. You want to see him in the run game, be more physical in the run game, set the edge. I know you could bend the edge, get after the passer, but if you're a one-trick guy, teams are going to expect what you're going to do, and they're going to get physical and run the ball at you. So we just want you to get a little stronger in the run game. But for New Orleans, like I said, it's excellent value. The guys are getting a little older on the edge there for New Orleans, Cameron Jordan and those guys. So you put in James Pierce to be an edge rusher for the Saints. And then Seattle Seahawks. This was a Mississippi pick, man. He wanted a right tackle in Josh Simmons. Pair him with Charles Cross. I like Simmons in the run game. I like his movement ability, especially in a zone offense, zone scheme offense, getting to the second level. He moves really well. So I like to pick there for Simmons at the right tackle for Seattle. Then we have Landon Jackson for the Chargers. He adds more physicality on the edge. I like how he comes down and plays the run game from the edge. Pass rushing. We need to see more pass rushing from Landon Jackson on the edge and the interior for that. Both. We need to see him do both as a pass rusher. So we'll see what he does. As more games to play for Arkansas. Yep. And then we have Tyler Barron. This is a big draft riser here for us, for the U, the transfer to Miami, man. I just love the all-around game he has. He plays the run. He plays the pass. He's always where he needs to be. So I like that pick here for Buffalo. Get more physical along the defensive line. Von Miller's getting a little older there. And then the last pick in the first round, we got Trey Harris, the big wide receiver from Ole Miss. Mike Evans, he can't play forever. Even though he's looking good. He's looking good over there still. Godwin is still looking good. Baker Mayfield has his weapons. But we're thinking about the heir apparent for Mike Evans as he gets older. And we like Trey Harris, man. The ball skills, the run after catch ability, 6'2", 215 wide receiver, man. So we got Trey Harris there for Tampa Bay.
All right, your future X in Tampa Bay. That's going to do it for this 2025 NFL mock draft.